Good morning, welcome to Juma Game Reserve this morning. My name is Mark and Becky is on camera. Seb is in final control and we have a lovely morning, very still, maybe a slight bit of air movement, couldn't really call it even a breeze. But it's a nice temperature, it's quite comfortable. And as predicted the other day, we have a little bit of weather moving in. There's some cloud that has come over. Very often, and it's almost without fail, when we get a northerly wind, we know there's going to be a weather turn, and this has turned the weather. We had a wonderfully hot day yesterday. A high pressure system that has preceded what is coming in now is a lower pressure. Morning stations, Mark getting mobile. Anyone out yet? And we're back. Heard some hyena calling behind us. More or less where the den is. Baby elephant track. Hyena and zebra. Morning, Josie. Been meaning to tell you the story. Oh, there's a snake track. Meaning to tell you the story of the hippo. So we'll have to find some hippo dung. Shouldn't be too hard near the dam. Good morning. That was an interesting bird. White outer tail rectrices. Could have been a honey guide, a lesser honey guide, I think. lesser but a greater honey guide. It's only one of the few birds that has those whiter outer tail feathers. Can't find it now. So, news is that Karula came into our car park last night, followed by a game drive vehicle. And then she proceeded to hunt bushbuck, and there was bushbuck making a lot of noise, barking. If any of you heard sounds similar to this, just the single bark of a dog every now and then, it was actually bushbuck. All of the spiral horned antelopes have a very loud bark as an alarm call, one of their features, as opposed to snorting or whistling. Believe it or not, there are some antelope that have a whistling alarm call, like the reedbuck. Mountain reedbuck, common reedbuck. Reedbuck have been seen here. I haven't seen any though, but they have been seen in parts of properties adjacent to Djuma, so there's no reason why they wouldn't be here. Just need the longer grasses. But then with longer grasses, of course, you lose most of the animal. So let's see. I came down here because I want to look for tracks. Karula initially walked past the camera, so she came from this area. There are old tracks here. Heading back south. Maybe we need to go back south. Interesting to know if anyone saw the cat, a cat again from the camera. I'm going to go down Twin Dams Road. We'll go towards Telepan, see if there's any sign of fresher tracks that way. These might have been tracks where she headed south at first and then came back, but I don't think so. None of the vehicles have come out from the lodge yet. I wonder if they don't maybe have something in the lodge. Maybe Karula did catch one of those bushbuck, or a nyala in camp last night. Headed down this way to go and fetch her children. Oh, well, time will tell. Thought also today we try and follow up on some rhino tracks. We haven't, I don't think we've seen rhino since we've been back. And it's time to go and look, catch up with some of our rhino characters if they're around. Of course, the idea of setting off to go and find a particular animal is not as easy as it sounds. Very often the way nature works, the harder you want it, or the harder you try and find something, the less chance you have of finding it. Or the more you want to see something, the less chance you have of seeing it. That's the way nature works. She reveals herself slowly and in her own time. A little break in the clouds, some sun coming through. I didn't get, what did she see there, Seb? And when was it? Oh. Oh, thanks, Susie Cook. Puffback shrike. I wonder if he's going to puff his back up. Yeah. Yeah, last night, thanks Susie. Susie was just saying, there was a puffback shrike here, but it's kind of gone deeper into some thicker bush. Actually, there's a pair of them. There we go. He's not listening to me because he's eating an insect. But that's more or less the call. It's a click, phew, click, click. A bit higher than that. But that is the mating pair, must be. And we don't really see his back until he's displaying. He's doing a territorial display. He's got a tuft of white feathers on his rump and he puffs them out like a little snowball. It's actually quite incredible when you do see it. Thanks, Susie. Susie was saying that she entered towards the dam from where we were parked the other day and walked down front. And then after she left where the camera was, when you saw her, Susie, she then came to our camp. The game drive vehicles picked her up, and it was about 7 o'clock that she came into our camp, into our car park, and moved down towards room 8. But there were tracks now coming south, so I'm wondering if she didn't walk around camp a bit, chase some bushbuck, and then head back south again. And we'll just see on the other side of this drainage line. We'll have a look for some tracks there. And well, I'm just going to wander around as usual, see what we can find for you. Seeing a lot of little buds coming out on trees, which is encouraging. A nice warm weather yesterday, and a really good warm spell like that makes all sorts of things come out. And one of the reasons why Seb saw that puff adder, I've already seen some snake tracks. Things are moving about, and life is starting to wake up for the spring. And it happens quickly. Vicky in Arkansas. Vicky or Becky? Vicky. Arkansas. Arkansas. The name of that beautiful flower that we put up on the screen. The reason why I dug it out of one of my folders on the desktop of that computer was because I still have to find it. I've had a lot of suggestions. Someone suggested an ornithogallum, which it is not. Someone suggested a clivia. And a clivia flower, single flower, is no, definitely not. Apart from the fact that leaf structure is all wrong, and I know you don't see the leaf on that particular picture, but I know what the leaf looks like. And it's actually a very small flower. It's a small ground-dwelling plant. I'll find another picture of the whole plant and I'll put that up and show you. But it's kind of hard for me to find that flower. It was very similar to my Kleinia, the Kleinia fulgens, but even then, that was completely different. Drag marks. Drag marks. Let's see, some interesting drag marks here. I'm going to have to investigate. Some impala up ahead. Maybe they lost one of their kind last night. Okay, quite interesting. Comes from Chelapan, goes up towards. I think we need to get to the hyena den. This is quite fresh. That might have been why we were hearing hyena earlier. Obviously I can't tell what was being dragged. I know that an animal was being dragged. There are hyena tracks that were dragging it. Could well be that they killed something, or maybe they stole something. Maybe there was a leopard around here. Maybe Karula killed something, they stole it. But if I take a straight line from, continuing on from the drag mark that comes through here, and we take a straight line, that's where the hyena den is. But they might have. We'll just go and check a film and dip. It's nice to sort of get some direction in the morning, even if we don't really find out what was going on. Yeah, they are again, drag marks in the road, going up to Weaver's Nest. Any station, Weaver's Nest, Philemon's Dip. Are there any Vuyatela stations out here? How's it going? It's got drag marks coming up from Chelapan up towards Weaver's Nest. Probably something being taken back to the PC client. any sign of that Ingwe near camp? Be nice to, you see, it'd be nice to actually catch the hyena dragging it. We're gonna have to come back to Leopard to investigate. We'll have a look around Leopard and see if we can see anything there. And go back to Twin Dams. Hello, Randy in Iowa. Can you tell what the weather will do by the way the animals behave? Not so much the animals, Randy, but a lot of smaller creatures. I can tell what the weather will do by my own with my own ears, because I can feel the changes in atmospheric pressure. But not so much from the animals themselves, but well, small animals, not the larger animals. Larger animals to some extent. But ants, termites, frogs, toads, number of things behave differently when there's rain coming. When there's a weather change like this, I could tell there was going to be a weather change more from a point of view of the change in wind direction that we have. We normally have a persistent, no, let's call it prevailing southeasterly wind, weather coming in from the southeast or the south. And when the wind changes and it comes in from the north, it's a little bit different. I'm not finding any drag marks crossing Weaver's Nest. Let's go down to the Philemon's Dip. I think otherwise we need to go back to Rebecca's Road. Rebecca's Road. Whoa. Quite a strong smell here. Can't quite put my finger on it. Morning, Doris. I'm not too sure if I understand the question. Doris is talking about the wattle that I was referring to the wattle I was talking about the other day. Hippo tracks here. I haven't forgotten about the hippo story, folks. I want to find some nice fresh hippo dung sprayed on a tree to be able to tell you about it. Let me find a wattle tree also, Doris, and then I can try and figure out what it is that you're asking. But Doris was saying that she was looking at the wattle on the internet, and there are parallel lines running up the tree. How many lines are there and what are they for? I don't quite understand that. Whether you mean the fissures in the bark. I mean, every tree has it. If you have a look, this is a terminalia. You have a look at how when the outer bark dries and the tree grows, the bark cracks, and different trees the bark cracks in different ways. I mean, there's a monkey pod that cracks in little blocks. The marula tree cracks in little mosaic patterns. There's never a fixed number of lines, though. I'm maybe need a little bit of clarification, Doris, what it is that you're asking, please. And of course, I haven't forgotten, Heather. Thanks for reminders, folks. I have not forgotten that today is Heather's big day. Well, it's our today. Tomorrow's still for Heather. Heather and Shelley, we are going to be thinking of you all day today. Big day for them both. Shelley, the donor. Heather is receiving a new kidney. I remember the very first time I saw anything about transplants. That's probably about 10, no, maybe 15, no, even more. 20 years ago. Maybe. Could have even been longer, because it was before it was a long time ago. There was this TV program about this kid, and he was playing cricket in his backyard after a transplant. And my bottom jaw fell on the ground. I thought, wow, this kid had a kidney transplant. Hello, Kudibul. And he's playing cricket and running around with his brothers and sisters. Oh, look. So a big kudu, but he's got a lovely big eyes running away, and he's chasing the kudu. Big warthog boar sticking his head out of his burrow. There he is. And of course, he darted out of his burrow and chased the kudu away. Morning, little boy. Not so little. Magnificent big male, that. Really worn down tusks. Warts are quite large. Quite an old boy. And the kudu has gone.
I just forgot one PC that had
where's that, Jacques? Where is that?
Sorry, it's on Leopard Road. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, those drag marks were coming from Leopard itself.
Yeah, if I just look at another MPC here in this Latin. It looks like his head was down in the... Yeah, there's a couple of them here. But I'm going to assume maybe the English still around here somewhere.
Okay, yeah, no, I thought it was going back, dragging back towards the den, but there's no drag marks coming across Weaver's Nest, so I wondered where they were.
Yeah, no, he came past me here with the Yama.
We missed it. We were right there. When we found those drag marks, it must have been like seconds old. Alright, let's go back again. Let's go and see them. They've got something to them, eating something there. And, well, sadly we missed it. There's one of my, it's not mine, but one of my tree orchids up here. Alright, we'll do that when it's flowering. Let's go back to Chelapan Road and try and get it turn around first. Hello, Drongo. I know you. Every time the elephant in this part of the world, we have that Drongo with us. Clouds getting thicker, by the way. Temperature's dropping. No, not even touching that subject. Safari friend asking about Tankman. I really don't want to talk about Tankman or what's happened there until we know from the vet after he's done a toxicology test. And there's been enough negative and bad stuff about that. I'm fed up with it all, I have to be honest with you. The baboon got an infection, he was euthanized. They're trying to establish what he got into. He's been breaking into kitchens and rooms. There are a number of compounds that he could have tried to ingest that might have done some damage. There's some pretty harsh accusations thrown around by some people on the Gowrie Gang page, and it's really, anyway, it's a mood souring topic. And I want to get back into a good mood. Nobody knows more than what was put on the web. That's all I can say. So, sorry. We're back, everybody, and we were gone because there was a power failure back at camp. Okay, finish the story. Alright, we should find some hippo dung. I think suspense is built up and it's going to be an anticlimax, not such great story, but it's, I guess I've been sidetracked too often, too quickly. Must be hippo dung on Twin Dams Road. We're going to go down to Twin Dams and we'll make a loop around. There'll be some sign of this leopard somewhere. Got a new ring, doesn't fit my finger. It's the inner portion of the bearing that disintegrated. What I've been trying to tell you, what I was hoping to find is actually to show you the dung, the way it's sprayed on bushes. But you see, hippos come out of the water when they're walking through their territory along their pathways. They spray their dung. Even in the water they spray their dung. But the story goes that once upon a time, hippo lived on land, but hippo used to get very, very hot living on land. So the hippo asked Mother Nature if they could all live in the water because it's so much cooler in the water. And of course the answer was yes, but there were conditions, and one of the conditions was that the hippo that the hippo wouldn't eat the fish in the water. So now, to prove that the hippo doesn't eat fish, the hippo comes out of the water and it spreads its dung on a tree to show the Creator, or to show Mother Nature, that there's no fish bones in its dung. Go ahead.
Yeah, anyone going through that side?
No, I'm heading south on Twin Dams Road. I'm going to do a loop around back to Weaver's Nest.
Okay, come in.
Did you come up from Twin Dams?
Yeah, I heard.
You see that Mkonzo heading north from Twin Dams?
No, negative.
Must have been where the Dingwit came from. But there was also Mkonzo at Gary Dam heading south. There was Karula was at the lodge last night chasing bushbuck. Could be any one of them.
Okay, copy.
I'm sorry, it's not a very long story. All been waiting for like 2 sentences of a story. Lorry in California. First-hand knowledge of how a hippo sprays its dung. You know this old saying about the feces hitting the fan? Well, that's kind of what it is. Laura was visiting San Francisco Zoo once, standing in front of the hippo enclosure, and learnt a valuable lesson in life not to stand too close to the front of the enclosure when the hippo comes out of the water to defecate. It gets sprayed with processed vegetation. Where's my black mamba? Time to find a new skin from that black mamba in this area one day. Not the podunk story, transplant story. Oh right, I was talking about that, and then there was a warthog in a burrow and a kudu, and then yes. Okay. I don't know, maybe I would have been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or something. I never could concentrate at school. The reason why nature works for me is because it is constant distraction. Attention span is limited. Anyways, I thought I'd finished that story. It was just about a little boy. Oh, I was just so amazed that this little boy could do what he was doing after a transplant. Anyways, then later on in life, I had to go through the same thing. I remember being told, oh, your kidneys are fading and you're going to have a transplant one day. Can't do anything about it, sorry. Yeah, a bunch of pills, take some pills, go home. Sit in a chair and wait. Except it took 13 years. And I remember also another day, there was a time when I was sitting in my doctor's office, and it was when I was still on one transplant list up in Johannesburg. Sadly, that nephrologist, the renal doctor that I had then, Dr. Margolius, Larry Margolius, sadly he passed away a few years ago. But he was quite a doctor. He was full of encouragement. But he was brutally honest as well. Nothing like a doctor that's honest. We keep missing those hyenas. They're around there near Chelopang. We keep missing them. Anyways, I was sitting in his rooms waiting for my appointment one day, and quite typically, as it goes with doctors, you have an appointment at 11 and you get there at 10:30, and come 11 o'clock he's still seeing his 10 o'clock patients, and you only get to see him at 12 o'clock. That's how it works with doctors. I think they just give you an appointment time to make sure that you get there early, and then of course you wait. But there was a gentleman in his waiting room who was the patient before me, who was just post-transplant, and I was only I think it was only a few years into my renal decline, and this guy said to me, "Don't worry about a thing." He said, "It's the best thing that ever happened to me." He said, "You can't believe how much of a difference it makes in your life." I smiled and said thank you and absorbed some of what he said, but it's a daunting thing. Even though transplants have been done since the 60s, and the anti-rejection drugs and the medication that helps you keep the transplanted kidney has improved considerably even since I had my transplant. It's still a daunting thing. For many years I fretted about it. The weirdest thing is that when the time came, I wasn't worried at all. When the time came, somehow I just knew it was the right thing to happen at the right time. But there are little things that happened. That little boy that was playing cricket in his yard, the patient that was in my doctor's rooms the one time, those little things that when the time came I knew that it would be fine, and it was. 10 days after the op I walked out of hospital a new person, and well, here I am. Within 8 months I was back in East Africa doing walking safaris. Done some amazing things since, despite all the drugs that I'm on that have to keep the kidney, my kidney Georgina. So Heather, we're with you and we know everything's going to be fine. Let's go up to Treehouse Dam. We haven't heard from Doris about the parallel lines in the tree though. I'm still not too sure what parallel lines Doris is talking about. I'm afraid. Why do we say that? I'm not afraid. Figure of speech. Kiboko is hippo in Swahili. Blacksmith lapwings. Something made a ripple, but Hey Steph. Oh, also Heather. You're welcome, Heather. And Steph also. Steph in the UK saying she's on the donor list there. Nice to know that. And it should be standard. I mean, it's got there should be no hesitation whatsoever for people to put themselves on a donor list. Your body's just a shell when you move on. Somebody else might as well use the parts. Give other people decades more of living to do if you can't. You know, exactly. I don't know if I could. I don't know. Once you become a patient, transplant patient, I don't know if you can then become a donor. Must find out. But I know I can't give blood anymore. I think in some cultures it's forbidden. Some culture, I mean, especially in Islamic culture, there is, and Judaism, I think, you're supposed to be buried with all your parts. Buffalo walking here. Maybe we'll see him. Buffalo tracks heading up this way. Actually more than one. But really it's silly, to be honest. Surely if you die and your parts are used by 10 other people, I mean if you give life to, I forget how many, but at least 10, even more other people. In fact, it's probably closer to 20. I don't know. So many people now can benefit. And as we go into our 21st century, technology and medicine changes and improves, even more parts of the human body are able to be transplanted. And for now, unfortunately, it's necessary. They're starting to grow organs in laboratories, not artificially grown. I mean, they've managed to grow bladder transplants in a lab. One day they'll be able to grow kidneys or livers or things like that. But until then, thousands and thousands of people are waiting for a second chance at life, and even thousands more than that are dying every day. Perfectly healthy organs getting cremated or buried. Organs that could quite easily save lives. I'm very grateful to whoever it was. Actually, it's their family more than the person, because the person's dead. But the family that allowed it to happen, I'll be grateful till my dying day that they allowed me to have a second chance at life. I would not survive dialysis. I would not survive having to live in a city on dialysis. I'd rather just go sit under a tree. And there's my buffalo going back to the dam. Those tracks must have been from last night. Looks like they're heading back towards Treehouse. These are our little group of buffalo. We've seen them hanging around camp. We've seen them hanging around open area called quarantine. I'm wondering if one of them is that pink-nosed buffalo bull. Yeah, we're going to go back to Spum Road because we'll catch them there. they're actually walking quite fast. I mean, they've got this really slow gait, but they're kind of covering a bit of ground. Pink-nosed bull's not here. Hello, man. Plodding along. And there's the one-horned wonder. Lose your other horn, you're going to be the new judge. He's taking a wider berth. Doesn't trust me. Yeah, his broken horn has actually rubbed his ear. He's got a callus on his ear. It must have broken a long time ago. Actually a callus on his ear where his ear rubs against that broken horn. Three and Yari just crossed Bum Road heading down to Treehouse Dam. Anyways, just on a final thought, we've been talking about what we call cadaver transplants. What Heather's going through is something completely different. It's a living donor. And that has got to be one of the most selfless, no, what's the word? One of the most amazing gifts for a person to be able to... Hello, little boy. When were you? How did we miss you? About the size of a buffalo's head. Little boy Steenbuck. Bye bye, little Steenbuck. Now follow these boys down to the dam. Not much happening this morning. We stay with what we've got for a while. Really, three old stooges. Oh, getting irritable with the other one. Jabbed him in the butt with his horns. sorry Seb, I'm not copying you. A bit too loud, the hissing on the radio again. I just want to watch you guys. We'll go down to the dam.
Yeah, Terence, I'm gonna come and pick you up now. I just had some questions calling again. Just off of Gary Dam. I'm just gonna book it by Gary Dam quickly and then I'll come back quick.
Guess I get a bit intimidated when I get too close. About 5 or 6 drongos and a couple of starlings following them. The starling feather that I found outside my door this morning. Thought I'd put in my hat, but it's not the right feather for a hat. Got a little bits of that last question, and something about the baboon, I think, but yeah, I guess might have to wait until I get to a better signal area. But there was something about apology, and yes, if an apology is due, I do apologize if I got irritable, but sometimes things just come out. Is that what it was, Seb? Some Okay, breaking up way too much, Seb, and I can't remember who that was. But yes, oops, sorry, Buffalo. Thought I was being very rude this morning. Wants an apology. I do apologize. I didn't mean to come across rude to you personally. If anything, my irritability is more aimed towards a certain individual that will not be named. Yeah, I'm sorry. What can I say? I can't hide my emotions. I didn't mean to offend you. Really sorry about that. Some things just get to me, you know? Some things just get to me. But I'm sorry. Say it 1,000 times, I'm sorry. I am who I am, and I have very strong feelings about things. Sometimes pair of geese have just landed. I wonder where they came from. Maybe Gowrie Dam. And Starling's having a bath in front of me. I guess starlings don't like to be filmed when they're having a bath. Three in Yari now, Treehouse Dam. Copied. And I wonder sometimes when you have like three bulls like this that move around together, that stay together, and I wonder what goes on between them, you know, the kind of interaction, apart from the physical stuff, but I wonder if there's any sort of other type of communication, whether they sort of have these conversations with each other in their heads or something. Three old buffalo bulls hanging out together. I often wonder what goes through their minds. And just by the way, while we're sitting here, there's a marula tree to my right, a few pieces of wood in it still. If anything, it looks more like a kite caught in a tree than anything else. But once upon a time there was a little platform up there. Way before my time, and that's how this dam got its name, Treehouse Dam. There was a little treehouse up there. Must have been a long time ago though, I would say. Right, I think let's move on. Find something else. I'd like to go up to the east, up towards Cheetah Cut Line, and investigate things up that way. Haven't been up there for a while. Bye, boys. Hello, Maya. In Vancouver, Canada. Maya was asking, well no, Maya's saying that she also collects feathers like I do. Oh, look here. I want to just look this up. This is a, sorry Maya, this is an asparagus creeper. And it hasn't got its leaves yet. Now, can't really see the shoot. This one here looks more like an asparagus, but of course this is not a there. Of course this is not a palatable asparagus. That is asparagus family, and go ahead.
Yeah, Mark. Guy in Eastern Channel, he's on the east. Alan from Milkway, he said he found a male leopard, but it's crossed from Twin Hands Road in the westerly direction. It's in between Weaver's Nest and Twin Dam. He lost visual, but I'm on Weaver's Nest at the moment. I'm heading down south to see if I can pick it up.
Okay, copied. Yeah, I'm still at Treehouse Dam, just leaving now. I'll also head that way.
Okay, copy. He said it's a big and dark male leopard, so I think it might be Mvula.
Okay, excellent. I'll be there shortly. Asparagus creeper. Yeah, boy, I tell you something though, that these spines, can you see? I don't know if you got that, where my finger is. They get very, very hard. So many of my pants are torn from walking in East Africa with that particular species. Walk past it. If you don't have long trousers on, I tell you, it tears the leg quite badly. Anyways, Maya was saying she also collects feathers and wants to know what's the most exotic feather that I have. Well, I don't know where it is now. It's in one of my books or it's in an envelope somewhere, but I was sent a snowy owl feather once from a friend of mine. Actually, I think it came from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. From a snowy owl that used to spend time at O'Hare Airport. Elephants. You have to leave your food on the road. Entire raisin bush. All its roots are eaten.
But he lost middle of it, just shot the elephant scalp somewhere there when he kind of went through that river and then he lost it.
So there's a big male leopard around. Most exotic. Also I've got a flamingo feather. And it still does have a bit of pink on it. I've had so many feathers over the years. But I used to have these feather displays. I actually used in a movie once. I don't know if you know Aces, it's that green stuff that you use in flower arranging. I know there's an Aces, it's like not quite a spongy, it is spongy because it absorbs and retains moisture, but it doesn't retain its shape if you squeeze it. And it's, well, anyways, I'm sure a lot of you know what an Aces is. But I used to make these feather arrangements, big fans, almost, well, huge. And there was one that was sort of mostly bluish tinged, even large macaw feathers. There was one that had mostly the reds, and there was one that was mostly browns and mixed colors, and hundreds of feathers in them. I just smelt the leopard now. Unfortunately, feathers don't last very long. They don't stay, unless I suppose you treat them with something, but things eat them. There are a lot of creatures that are designed to eat feathers.
Once you just drop off the corner, I took the branch, picked up on you on the path,
There's Ellen.
On the path, the boundary, I picked up on you, just to clear up on the boundary. I'll put the branch one side there. Yeah, okay. How do you know it? Go pull it back up. Go see that move out of the start it down. Verso de cuida metão dela.
Too sure now where, because if Alan said he saw a leopard and he's rushing up that way, I don't. Don't understand where this leopard was. Gene, I think, couldn't quite get the name. D, we've seen the judge. Judge hasn't been seen. It's funny how all of a sudden everybody's asking, not everybody, how so many people are asking about the judge. The judge hasn't been seen for well over a year. Gosh, I think the last time we saw him was last year, June, July. Luann in Pennsylvania saying safari Was she seen at Nkoro or by Nkoro? That's a good question. But evidently seen at Nkoro, looking a little thin and tired. See, the track's going off here, so I wonder if this isn't where that leopard was. What's that, Joe?
Yeah, it's Jordan. He's stopped with Diamond Road. He stopped the time and stopped mobile east over the Kovan.
Okay, copy, thanks. Jambilu Jordan.
I've got it. He's come to the back at me. But it takes it.
East of Twin Dams. We've missed him. We've somehow not quite been in the right place at the right time this morning. We were seconds away from those hyena. We were at Twin Dams looking. I knew there was leopard around, but somehow we missed him. Mbila Yadan was at Twin Dams. He's headed east from Twin Dams. Let's go to Leadwood Road, maybe. Pick him up there. Father of the Cubs. Randy in Iowa wanted to know about the story about elephants being intoxicated by the marula fruit. It's a fallacy, Randy. It doesn't happen. Physically can't happen. It won't happen. Who's that in a tree? Looks like an African hawk eagle. See if I can find a gap in the trees to be able to show you. It's just south of the road here. It does look like an African hawk eagle. Could be. I don't know if you get a gap, Becky. There. Pardon? That's fine. No, maybe not. I can't see it now because it's behind trees for me. Definitely not an African hawk eagle, that's for sure. Juvenile battalier, more like it. Or brown snake, maybe brown snake eagle. Very pale face, that's why I thought AHE. But definitely got bare legs, so it's one of the snake eagles. Face is a bit too pale. Monkeys are shouting, come, we got to go. Shark coming? Are you still near that Ingwe?
Yeah, I come at Mvula, but he's crossed the Mvula.
Confirm Mulwanini or Mulwati? Okay, because I can hear cow colouring now. Okay, I'm coming up to Twin Dams. What's my best approach? Okay, I'm going to go on to Leadwood Road. Maybe he'll come through there. So now I believe it's Mvula, not Mafufunyan, not Yambilu Yordan. Can't imagine Mvula being skittish. Maybe we'll get to see him. Maybe we'll be lucky. Elephants and marula trees. Elephants don't digest their food very well, and when it's marula fruiting season, 90% of the marulas they eat come out whole, undigested. So apart from that, that's one point that I'd have to make. The other thing that I'd have to say is that they'd have to eat hundreds of fermenting marula fruits, hundreds, literally hundreds, for it to have any effect, even the slightest effect. You see, where it came from, where that kind of story came from, was elephants, their must period peaks around midsummer, which is around the time when marula fruits are ripening. Elephants in the past have become very aggressive when they're in must. And early days, 50 years ago, I guess people would think that must elephant was drunk on the, I don't know. But it was a myth for a long time, and it was perpetuated, or if not solidified, I suppose, by a movie in the 1970s. A movie by Jamie Ace. His brother Peter Dirk Ace is actually a wonderful comedian. His alter ego, Vita Bezaidenote. Hello Nyala, I'll come and see you now. He's looking for your leopard on the hunt you. Oops, mind the rock. Nyala all looking down this direction. We're going to stop here and listen for Jacques, see if his vehicle is close by. Further. Anyway, so Jamie Ace made a movie, and it was at a time in Kruger when they were doing, well, in Kruger at the time rather. Aha, I hear a squirrel looking behind us a little bit. Squirrel's looking this way. Stop here a bit.
Marco, you're on Leopard Road at the moment.
Okay, copied. I'm just confused because I saw squirrel shouting in the opposite direction. Okay, copy. Mind if I join you? Anyways, so this filmmaker managed to get some very interesting footage of an elephant that was being darted. Well done. Nice work. There he is. Big male leopard. It's huge. He's probably one of the biggest leopards we have around here. Let's just go off-road. Let's try and get to see him better. I didn't realize he was so close to me. But anyways, just to finish that point on the elephant, he was filming elephant when they were being darted for research, and he cleverly edited it. He cleverly edited it so that you could see the elephant behaving like it was drunk before it fell down from the anesthetic or the muscle relaxant, and used it in his story about elephants getting drunk on marulas. A lot of that movie was manipulated. In the 70s, wildlife filmmaking was not what it is today. So here we have Mvula male leopard. He's the kind of leopard that he just walks. Doesn't care where the vehicles are. He's got a way to go. He wants to go somewhere, he just goes. He listens to where the vehicles are, but he doesn't really care very much. Skull on the ground here. Zebra skull. Just a piece of zebra skull. Uh-oh, he's going to go into that drainage line.
I'm going to be leaving Mvula. He's probably about 100 feet, 50 meters east of Leopard Road, still mobile in an easterly direction. I'm going to leave Mark and Lock.
Okay, let's try and keep up with him because we're going to lose him. If we can. Will you do the easy work? I don't know how this is going to work out too well for us. opening up a little bit. Getting a little bit closer to Gary Main. He might eventually get back onto the road. Liz, I don't know if you're with us. This is Liz's boy. Liz has been here to Juma and fell in love with Mvula, as I'm sure many people have. It's a magnificent leopard. Okay, finally getting a little bit open for us to maybe catch up with him in a our new tires through their paces. You're kind of on the prowl, looking for something to hunt. He missed those nyala. Hello Lynn, nice to hear from you. Lynn in Canada. We can maybe have a guess at his weight. Well, probably about 70 kilos maybe. Easily. Maybe 60, 70 kilos. He's going to cross the Spanish line. And that means we got to find our way across it. I remember being here looking for, I think it was him, had a kill that he stole from, no, the lion stole. Oh, he's going to sit on his termite now. Oh, fantastic. Don't move from there, boy, please. Any station coming to Ingwe? Okay, Abs, come on to Gary Main. We're close to Gary Main now. Just, I might lose him briefly when he goes through the Skovanin onto Gary Main. Okay, at the moment he's Lalapanzi on the stoel. Oh, he's not oh man. Turn your back on us, will you, dude? Okay, we're gonna sit here for now. I'm worried that if I start driving to change position, he might decide that he doesn't like the noise and move on. He will look at us soon. Seems he must have been walking quite a bit. He's panting. Maybe he made an attempt at a kill. Maybe, even more maybe, it was his kill that the hyena stole at Chelapan. Maybe there was another leopard and it was the commotion that got him going that way to begin with. Lots of maybes.
if you want to go.
Thanks, man. Just took up line 5.
Okay, copy, I'll see you now.
Sorry, I can't remember who that was from. Who's heavier, Mvula Jordan or Mvula? I would say Mvula's bigger than Mvula Jordan. I don't know if a Leopard bigger than him. Yeah. Do a focus pull to the thorns. Some pretty big acacia thorns there. No. It's the two below those two that are bigger. Anyways. So Seb, who was that was asking which one's bigger, heavier? Oh, Patty. Oh, Patty Roberts. Hello, Patty. Okay, I'm sure you'll see me, but I will see you. I'll let you know when I can see you. I've never really known him to come this far west, actually, to as far west as Twin Dams. I mean, we started... Oops, I dropped the radio in the grass. I've never really known him to come this far west. As I say, this is into Mafufunyan's territory. Okay, I'm gonna have to try and I'm not gonna stretch down. Don't look this way, cat. No, don't look this way. He's gonna look at me as soon as I put my foot on the grass. Look the other way. Got it. He just saw me as I got back in, and now he's going down. Abel, come in. Okay, I think he's gonna come your way now. Remember when we were here, Becky? Huh? Weren't you here with me? Yes, they took the leopard there. And we were trying to get them here. Oh. Sorry, Seb, go with that again. Talking over you. Mission, something about mission. Ah, Elizabeth wants to know if this is Mishu and Induna's brother. No, he's somewhat older than Mishu and Induna. I don't even think he's related. He comes from the east, this leopard. Mishu and Induna don't have a brother. Well, I suppose they do. The new little boy is their brother. Younger brother. Get through here, maybe we will. I will come in. Never mind. Copy. He's coming out somewhere in front of us, I think. I think these guys use low range. Oh, Liz. Liz is having a good day. Her two favourite cats in the Sabi sand. Saw young Sticks male EP this morning. And now Mvula. All from the comfort of her own home. Steph, is that Steph in England? Steph's finding info on the web from another lodge further south, another property further south from us, about the lion. Okay, now where was it come out now? A little bit too far maybe. Steph was asking, she's pleased to see that the lions have the same names down there, but the leopards have different names. Could it be the same leopards, but they just have different names? But no, definitely not the same leopards. Although the likes of some of the leopards here have come from Londolozi when they were youngsters and they set up territories here. But leopards have a much smaller territory than lions, so lion will move from one place to the other. Lion will cover such a large area that they'll be seen by different places. And leopard, on the other hand, have relatively small territories, so the leopard will be different. It's one of the reasons why we couldn't call Shavinzi Shadulu, because there's a leopard down there called Shadulu, and it would create too much confusion because you wouldn't get the same leopard in two different places so far apart. Now, the question is, where did he go? Aubrey, come in. Did you have a visual at all? But when you first came in? Oh, the father. Oh, okay. Sorry, Elizabeth. Radio is not the greatest this distance. This part of the world, we've always had a lot of hissing on the radio that kind of muffles the voice of whoever's talking on the other side. And Elizabeth was asking, is he the father of Mishu Nduna, not the brother? That makes more sense. Sorry, Elizabeth. What is that bird? That one? Is it Crombeck?
No,
the Batters?
You don't think you'll be able to see it from where you are?
The back there? Yo, Drongo nearly took my hat off.
Flown down, it's quite a big bird.
Flown?
Down.
If I go forward?
Yeah.
There's a southern black tit.
No.
Not that.
Big bird, there.
Big bird where?
Good.
There, that one.
Is that just a hornbill?
That's a grey hornbill.
Oh.
Where? I think this cat's lying down somewhere. Always walking up the drainage line.
still here, but I can't see him.
Giraffe on the road. I'm going to try and get up to Cheetah Cut Line because he's either going to come out. I reckon he'll get to Cheetah. He's probably near Cheetah Cut Line already. I don't know if I was done with the previous question. My brain's jumping. Oh, sorry, Elizabeth, gosh. No, Mvula is not Mission Induna's father. Yambilu Yordan is their father. Sharona wants to know the name of the other animal that looks like a leopard. I think you mean a cheetah. Sharona. My Sharona. Bye-bye, giraffe. I wonder if he could have maybe seen a giraffe. And instead of going that way, let's just go down that way a little bit. Big male there too now. Giraffe's a bit big for him. Is it rare or common for leopards to have blue eyes? I think it's fairly rare. I remember having a leopard with one blue eye and one golden eye. Another part of the Sabi Sand many years ago. Well, not very common. This big old male giraffe. Good morning, Squire. Eating tumbuti. make us sick, if not kill us, but giraffe can eat it. And you? Thanks, Colleen. Just reminding me that Mvula actually comes from the southern end of the Sabi Sand. A place called Lion Sands. It's a place that I spent, in fact, I probably knew Mvula's ancestors living at Lion Sands 20-something years ago. But this is how far he has come to set up territory after being born on the opposite end of the Sabi Sand Game Reserve, over two rivers, over the Sand River, over the Sabi River. In 2005, he's only a 6-year-old male, but he's already huge. I want to go back up towards Cheetah Cut Line to see if he might have come out there. These boys that will giraffe couple heading into the bush. No, he's back on a termite mound now. A couple of kilometers just west of that Mvula. Graham, are you northern side of that drainage line? Oh, here's a baby giraffe. There's a youngster here too. Didn't notice him or her. That's big enough for a big leopard, or rather small enough, and another female. Hello, baby. Leopard's not too far from us. And I'm sure he's back on the same termite mound, I have to be honest. I don't think he went anywhere. Look at me, look at your mum. Look at me, look at your mum. Hello, Michelle in Washington. Why do leopards travel alone and not in pairs like other big cats? Actually, Michelle, there aren't any of the cats that travel in pairs. Lion are in prides, in groups. Cheetah don't pair up, only for mating. They do, but they don't pair up to travel together. But that doesn't really answer your question. Leopard are solitary because, well, a lot of it has got to do with finding a niche. that no other animal has managed to exploit. And it's not that simple, because when we look at the other cats, the other three big cats that we have, lion and leopard and cheetah. Sorry, giraffe. Okay, let's see if we can get back to the leopard. They share pretty much the same areas, and they hunt the same food. So the competition, if they were all to do the same thing and have the same behavior, the same social structure, competition would be fierce. And the only way to minimize competition amongst three large cats, or three large cat species, and make sure that they can each have, or rather make a fairly decent living out of what they do, is to make sure they have different habitat requirements, different social structures, different behavior, different methods of hunting. And so leopard have managed to exploit a particular niche that isn't really utilized by lion and cheetah. In fact, it's quite the opposite of cheetah, in that they happen to live in a lot thicker vegetation, denser bush, than both lion and cheetah. And in so doing, living a solitary existence is just a lot better for their survival and their ability to survive than if they lived in groups. Because when you're in thick bush, if there's more than one of you, first of all, you're going to make more noise, and second of all, geez, Graham, we're on a rally. Graham, you got someone else coming to this lock? Do you mind if I rejoin? So, it's like not only in leopards but other animals that live in thick bush that also live a much more solitary existence than animals that live in the open. You see, when you live in the open, it's more conducive to social structure and living in a group than it is living alone, because when you live in the open, you want more eyes and ears to look out for danger. When you're living in thick bush, the more individuals there are of you, the more noise you're going to make, and the easier it is going to be for predators to hunt you. So leopard, being an animal that lives in thicker vegetation, has a lot better chance traveling alone than it does if it was traveling in groups. And that's one of the reasons why when a leopard has got cubs, she leaves her cubs in a particular place and goes off elsewhere to hunt so that she can hunt alone. And it is also the same reason why leopard cubs have pretty much of an instinctive hunting ability rather than a learned hunting ability. I'm just looking at a monkey orange and I'm thinking of Alan. King Alan, where are you? Alan been wanting to look at monkey oranges for a long time. I'll have to get it when we come back. But now, cheetah, on the other hand, they hunt in the open, and when a mother's catching food, she's going to make sure that her cubs are nearby so that they can see her hunt and they can learn from her. Leopard is not going to be able to teach its cubs how to hunt because they're not going to see anything in thick bush. They're not going to see anything with a pounce, stalking and pouncing, as opposed to the running hunt of the cheetah. So there is a lot to it. It's not just, there's a lot to it anyway. So let's see if we can get in here and join these guys. He's back at a different termite mound. We should have just stayed on this side. We'll get to see him. There are a couple of vehicles in the way. He's on the side of a termite mound and with limited view of him, but we have had a good look at him. See if maybe these vehicles move on at some stage. No, we're not going to see him from that angle. We'll just get a glimpse of him from here, maybe behind Graham's car, but I don't think we're going to get to see him at all. Whoops. Seb, that was really, I didn't copy a single word there. That's bad. We'll just have to wait a bit. Not going to get a better view than this. Let me think. Actually looks like a burrow where he's lying. That's the only view that we have from here right now, I'm afraid. I don't know if I can get around. No, I won't get around anyway. try something else. We might be able to get around here, but it's not going to work, I don't think. I do, Seb. Okay, I'm going to just pause on questions because we're going to be close to guests now, and I don't want to really disturb their experience. We're still not going to get a view from here. Maybe over Abel's bonnet. No, not much of a visual. Oh shit. Go on there. I see ramen for. You see him from there, eh? Zoom a bit. A little bit better. Hey, Ace. I'm in here. Becky. Ganda. Juma. Yeah. No. Ako na pass. Yuri. New one like that. but Land Rover. Hmm? Mm. Yeah. Lots of money. I'm just going to pause on questions for a minute. No, sorry, Seb, just not doing questions at the moment. Sorry, Abel. You think?
Go and check.
It didn't look when he was sitting on the termite mound and you started coming in. He just got up and he walked down. But there was some nyala further back, but he didn't see them. I think it was Linda was asking a question about leopard swimming, or Liz. Yeah, they do swim. There's some incredible stories about leopards swimming to islands, especially when she's going to get a few layers off now. It's getting warm. When Lake Kariba was made, or was it Kahora Bassa, one of those big dams in Zimbabwe, they started flooding the valleys to make the dam islands were isolated, and leopards would swim from island to island to hunt. Okavango, they cover a lot of ground, swimming from island to island. Even the lion do. But here, yeah, they would either find rocks and causeways to cross the Sabi and Sand River, or they would just walk through shallow water. Abel's saying that he seems to think that maybe he made a kill down here. He is panting a bit more than he was. Okay, Seb, if you want, continue. Don't think I'm going to be disturbing much. Oh, Linda was asking about leopard swimming. I thought I just addressed that. But yes, they would cross rivers and they do swim. Morning, Yvonne. I'm asking about him panting. Well, he has been walking a lot. He could have made an attempt at a kill here when we weren't watching him. It's also a means to keep cool, as a dog does. But yes, nothing wrong with him because he's panting. A lot of the predators pant. He did look like he had a fairly full stomach, I have to be honest. And that also is a cause for panting when their stomachs are full. They take shorter breaths. Sarah wants to know if this is a mate of Safari. No, I don't think so. Abel, have you ever seen Mvula and Safari together? So they've never been together, the two of them. But no, he's much younger. He's a third of her age. Yeah, Safari's been with your Don as well, which is Karula's mate. Yambila Jordan. But she hasn't conceived, so maybe she's not fertile anymore. Mvula has been with... Who's Mvula been with? Tandi and Mkanyeni. So that Mampimpan for Tandi is Mvula's Mampimpan. Okay, so Mvula has sired the cub with Saseka, who's called Tandi in other parts, as well as Mkanyeni. Now, I don't know if those of you who've been with us for some time now, we used to see Mkanyeni up near Sydney's Dam and Sandy Patch, but she's now mostly only on Buffelshoek. She hasn't come back to Western Gowrie for a long time. Okay, Roger just wants to get the name is Mvula, M-V-U-L-A, which means rain in a number of languages, including Shangaan and Zulu. Hello, Randy in Iowa, asking about the leopard's attraction to termite mounds. It's got nothing to do with, well, in some cases, Randy, it has something to do with food, because warthogs live in termite mounds and leopard can intimidate warthogs. Some leopards become specialists in warthogs, or maybe other animals that might live in a burrow in a termite mound. But it's mostly as a vantage point. It's not that there is more food at a termite mound. It's all got to do with lying above the grassland, being able to have a better view of your surroundings. Plus it's open sand. It's more comfortable than lying in prickly grasses and twigs. A leaf in front of his face. Maybe if I just... Fish eagle calling. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. Interesting that he's at the mouth of it. He's at the entrance of a burrow. And it looks fairly well used too. I think maybe because we had drag marks at Chelapan and Mpisi with Nyama at Chelapan. I'm sure it was from him, but he must have had a lot of it because he's full.
Now we started to go down Chitapen area. First time, just Chitoka that side.
Yeah,
Now it's coming to
yeah. I mean that's Mafuvunyan's area. That if because he was at Twin Dams. I've never seen him that far west.
always Chitoka.
Yeah. I've seen him here before, here and Leadwood Road, but never further west.
Okay, guys.
Enjoy your day. Definitely got a pinkish tinge to his bib and his sort of chest area, so I'm sure that he has been feeding this morning, and it's a very good possibility, especially the direction that he came from. A very strong possibility that the hyena had the remains of his kill. The drag marks that I saw though were fairly large drag marks, so unfortunately never going to know the answer to that question. fish eagle above us somewhere. Oh, it's very bright looking up. Quite a glare. Cloud starting to break open a little bit. Still moving to the south. It's a bit of a northerly wind. So I think there's still a bit of weather coming in. This is only the beginning. Also, I suppose we're moving closer to new moon, and new moon's a good time for a weather change. Big sigh. Another reason why I would be panting is because his tummy is a little full. You're gonna get up in a minute. Julian Gary, interesting question. Do male leopards ever get into territorial fights over territory of females? Very much so. Fights to the death sometimes. I can't remember who they were, but there were two males fighting. It's actually become a famous clip. It's even been on Discovery. And Rex, if any of you know who Rex is, Rex was one of our presenters here. Rex was actually at that sighting once. He was at that sighting when it happened. And one of them lost an eye in that fight. But there was a fight that went on for a long time. He's uncomfortable because he's so full. But okay, he's showing us his back. It's time for me to say goodbye. Maybe if we're lucky, somebody will find him again this afternoon, or we will. I do have to get back. I'd love to sit here a little bit longer, but I have an appointment with. Well, no, the Land Rover has an appointment. There's someone coming from Hoedspruit. It's going to be going through the landy to see if there's anything else that might be a potential breakdown that the Juma mechanics didn't pick up. The thing is, when a bearing goes, and a wheel bearing is another thing. You can feel when a wheel bearing is going to go. But that pulley bearing, well, we could hear it going the night before, but you never know when it is about to go. So just gonna fade out from, you don't need to look at me, but from Mvula the Leopard, and Mark the human, Becky the camera person, camera lady, and Seb in final control. All of us here at Juma Game Reserve. Been a wonderful morning, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you a little bit later. Bye.